What's up, mates? Welcome back to the show. Today in the studio, I had Matt Johnson, just an enigma of a man, so fun. This is a military vet who ran across the state of Texas, not just once, but twice, also smashing the record in the process. But he's known online for being a little bit of a healthy rebel, a little healthy degenerate. He'll run the craziest runs you've ever seen and then smoke a cigarette. And he talks about humanizing doing extraordinary feats, but that he's not an extraordinary person. He's just a regular person who learned to do hard things, but his mindset is so fascinating. And then he was enlisted by the likes of Jelly Roll to help him lose weight and the Nelt Boys to run their first 100-miler. And we have a conversation that just discusses his whole kind of training philosophy, overcoming childhood trauma, becoming this social media personality, doing hard things, what's coming next for him, how to find balance. And it's just a really, really fun conversation. I know you're going to enjoy it. So let's get into it with Matt Johnson. Bro, I wanted to read you a quote back from yourself on one of the videos that you made in the run across Texas, because I was following that thing and we'll get into it. But this one really hit. You said, "I want you guys to know you are meant to do incredible things. I am nothing. I am a nobody. I was born in a double wide trailer. I was born and then taken back to a double wide trailer. I was raised with the values that I now have from a single mom with an incredible surrounding system around her. I was raised by my grandparents while my mom worked 2 jobs, but I'm just a normal person who does abnormal things. I'm not an influencer. I'm just me. And I just like to do hard things." And the big call to action was reminding people that they can do hard things, do incredible things, and it doesn't require them being an incredibly special person. Has that always been with you?
I think it's always been with me, but it took the most traumatic event of my life to bring that out. And that was, going through a divorce in 2023. I got married super young. And through that divorce, or through that marriage, we loved each other and life was good, right? And, but I was so young, she was so young, we were so young, and we were still growing.
Yeah, dude.
And there was something within me that, I got stationed in Virginia in 2021, right after COVID. And when I got up to Virginia, it was my first time ever away from home. And I had to, it was just me and my wife, and I had to figure out who I was as a person away from comfortability. And within that is where I picked up fitness, because that gave my mind something to do. And nonchalantly just started running 70 miles a week without even knowing what I was doing. Like, right. I had no clue. I was just, I'd wake up and I'd run 5 miles, 7 miles. I'd go to work. I'd come home. I'd go run 5 miles on the trail. And, I'm running 13 miles a day. And, so that was when it started. It was, I feel like all of us have something within us, but unfortunately, I don't think that it always gets unlocked.
Yeah.
I feel like there is something within all of us, but you have to go through something to unlock that, whether it's something great or whether it's something horrible. I feel like you have to go through an event that triggers that to unlock.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of like catalyst, right? And
yeah.
I guess unfortunately or fortunately, however you view it, a lot of the time it's probably the painful thing. There's like this idea that breakdowns can lead to breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks that so many of us have got to get to rock bottom to like harness some kind of like catapult-like energy. It feels like we're going down to like blast back through. But as long as you use it and then it's in service of you figuring out the next step and stumbling forward or running forward.
Well, yeah, and I feel like, everything happens for a reason. Like I truly believe that, I believe in God, and I believe that, he has a path. I also believe at the same time though that we have the choice at what path we take.
Mm-hmm.
And, in my head, whether it's true or not, you have 1,000 different paths in front of you, and path 2 will lead you to 1,000 more, and then you have path 900 will lead you to 1,000 more. It's like, what, it's laid out, but you have the choice. And with that being said, I went through so much trauma as a child and as a young man, as a young adult, at 17, 18 years old. And I feel like that is what has kind of catapulted me if you want to say over everybody else, because I know how to get out of situations I don't want to be in. I know how to maneuver through challenge. I know how to block things out and move the way that I want to move. You know, and I feel like all of those things have led me to different paths that has led me to where I am today. You know, so one of my very first podcasts I ever said is, you know, I caught a lot of heat, and this was like one of my first, you know, I had 20,000 followers at the time, and this went for 100,000 plus. So to me, it was like, oh my gosh, it went viral. And I said, you know, I don't believe that anyone will chase endurance sports that has never been through some type of trauma. I don't think that you're going to live a picture perfect life and want to go and chase pain. Yeah. Because it's not comfortable and you're not used to that. So that's why I think, you know, kind of not even anything you asked me there, but, you know, why I do what I do is because of that quote that you just read right there. It's like I was raised by my mom and my grandparents, and it was just us, and we were poor, and you know, I knew how to navigate, and I watched my mother do it, and that bled into me. Yeah. And now I get to do what I do now.
That's like a certain level of grit that you can't teach, right? Like that it's kind of imbued upon you through life. And then if you add some sprinkling of traumatic events and really difficult things, then you have to learn to survive. Because the only other option is that you don't. The only other option is you get crushed, you get fucking buried, you check out. You might even think that the pain of staying in this existence is too much to bear. It's more peaceful to go to sleep and never wake up, so to speak. So you have to learn to alchemize it in one way or another. Some people, unfortunately, they go down a dark path and they like just try and numb, and they turn to drink and drugs. And some people like figure something out, like they've had unjust events thrust upon them, but then they can choose this kind of like voluntary suffering past. It's like more of a reclamation back of that energy. Like, I'm in charge of my suffering now, bitch. I'm choosing this. You're not going to do it to me anymore. I'm the savage that will choose to do the crazy shit like run across Texas. Do you think that's kind of like rewiring and like pulling back some agency when you choose to voluntarily do really hard things?
I don't know. You know, I mean, I just know that, you know, like when I'm out there, it is so hard. It's so hard. And then, you know, just like year one, when we ran across Texas the first time, and I say we because it wasn't just me, it was the entire crew. And, you know, when we ran across Texas the first time, we were out there and we're like, we are never doing this again, ever. And then my best friend who did all the media, Drew Darby, he comes to me in December and was like, yo, look at this route. And I was like, let's do it again. You know, now there's a way longer story to that than just doing it again. But even being out there, what I said out there was like, I am not doing anything in 2026. And that has already changed because something got, you know, which I can't talk about it yet, but something got brought up and, you know, there's going to be a small event, you know, but out there, if you would ask me that, hell no. Yeah. You know, so like when I'm out there, it's so hard, but when I get back, I feel called to be back out there. Yeah. And, you know, do you call that addiction? Maybe. You know, is that just like anyone else chasing the needle, chasing the you know, the can, chasing the bottle? Like, is it? Probably, you know, but there's just something, there's something in me that I crave that road. And it's not the trail, you know, like others go trail racing, others, you know, run marathons. Like I crave being on the side of a highway. Yeah. And just running and watching the sun come up and being up from the time that the sun rises and watching it fall. Mm-hmm. I crave it. I can picture this moment right now of me watching the sunrise, and it's I crave it. It is within me. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I've done it now for I watched 36 sunrises and 35 falls, you know, and like I crave it. Like just thinking, like just right now feeling it. It excites me. Mm. And, you know, I really don't believe I'll ever do a long event like that again, to be honest. It's hard on the body. It's hard on the hormones. It's hard, you know, no one knows, but, you know, I ended up in the hospital. I ended up in the ER after the Texas run. I finished on Friday. I ended up in the ER on Wednesday. My blood pressure was 179 over 129.
Oh, geez, dude.
And, like, they were worried about a stroke. Yeah, you know, it's hard on the body, but, you know, I don't know.
Isn't it interesting, though, like you said, that when you were in it, I saw your reaction when you crossed the line, too, and you were saying, like, that was so hard. That was so hard. And it was, like, emotional, man. I was like, who fucking Dusty in here, man? Because there's something about seeing somebody overcome.
Yeah.
And not only is that feat incredibly impressive in and of itself, but when you strained your Achilles and basically you were on the precipice, right? Like, there was a moment, it sounds like you came really close to thinking that you had to pack that one in. How real did that get?
In my brain, it wasn't real to me. But the craziest part was how real it was to Drew. And I say Drew because who I just told you, you know, best friend now, he did Texas 1, he did Texas 2, and we always he's filmed every single endurance event that I've ever done, every run outside of one, because he couldn't make it. So he's always been there, right? So he knows me better than anyone in those situations. And we always do a debrief at some point within the race, like, you know, because we always end up together, and it's like, hey, like, what did you think? Blah, blah, blah. It's probably 3 days before the end, and I'm like, what'd you think? And he goes, I thought I was going to have to get on your Instagram and tell people, try to figure out how to tell people that you quit.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I remember a certain point where I told Drew, and I was actually just lying to myself to try to convince it in my brain, but I told him, I'm like, I don't think, and this is literally exactly, I was like, I don't think motherfuckers understand that I will die before I leave this highway. And when we did the debrief, he said that was option 1 of telling people I was going to quit. Option 2 was him having to call this other editing job that he had and tell them that he had to pull out of the project because we were going to be out there for 30 plus days.
Yeah, because you were just going to fucking plod.
Yeah, like I was going to walk the entire thing. And that, having that conversation with him as we knew we were going to finish, you know, a couple days, was like, holy shit. Like, we were really in it, you know, like we were almost there. And who knows what would have happened? You know, I can't say, you know, I've DNF'd races before. I've quit before. Who knows? You don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened, and I can't make an assumption. But,
yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't. What in your past, when you think back about other times you've DNF'd, sometimes via injury, no choice, broken bones, other times when you said I quit, is that something afterwards that like eats at you?
You know, there's one time that I look, there's one race where I'm like, I think I quit. And granted, I rolled my ankle 3 times during this race. I have a photo of my ankle when I was done, and it looks like a fish. Like, my foot is triple the size. My ankle is swollen and bruised. I was hurt.
Yeah.
But I remember, I knew because I was driving home, and I was like, I could have walked. I'm like, I could have done it, but I didn't want to be out there for 35 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was a flat 100. It was Rocky Raccoon in 2024. And I just come off the broken leg in 2023 where I pulled out of a race. Like, I had DNF'd 2 races in a row, and I'm you know, we're driving home 2.5 hours, and I'm all fucked up because I haven't slept for, you know, 35 hours, and I just ran 80 miles. And I was like, I could have walked. And it hit me. It was only about 3 hours, because then I got home and got out of the car, and there's a video that went viral, and it was I did the Johnny Cash song, I Hurt Myself Today, and it was my fiance now, but my girlfriend at the time was like carrying me inside off of our Ring camera. And because I couldn't walk, like, that's how bad that you know, but like in my head, I'm like, dude, I could have walked. And, you know, so I've never been okay and just quit a race. Like, there's always been something. The broken leg, Leadville. I mean, shit, Leadville won the first ever ultra that I did. I walked 50K because I was so fucked up, and I got cut off by time. You know, so there is always those inner dialogues that you have to learn how to navigate. But, you know, what I love to tell everyone, you know, especially the small selection of people that I coach now is, I've DNF'd more 100s than I've finished.
Right.
And I don't think people realize that. Like, people look at me and, people are messaging me like, oh my God, you're the GOAT. You're the greatest. You and Goggins are the 1 and 2 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, none of these people know that but then you go look at Andy Glaze's DNF rate. Go look at the races that Goggins is DNF. Goggins just DNF'd a race. Can't really even speak about Goggins right now because he's 55. He's crushing it. But you know what I mean? Like, all these greats have quit.
Yeah.
And, and I tell everyone that, like, it's okay. Like, this is not made to, you're not supposed to win every time.
No, dude. It's probably, I bet the greats have failed or DNF'd or quit or whatever word you want to use more times than the normal person has even tried. And that's why they are great, right? Yeah. It's like kind of that's the price you pay to play.
Well, and that's why I think that, just like I said, like every path you go down, like I didn't finish the first 100 that I ran, and it was Leadville, which is known to be one of the hardest. And that lit a fire in me that, like, I was like, I'm going back next year. Like, I have to go back. I have to do it. And I did, and I finished. But, like, that lit a fire in me where, like, I'd never stopped training. Yeah. And then that led me into 2023 when I got out of the military, went through the divorce, moved to Austin, train, get to Leadville, did Leadville. That was the catalyst to, to me being where I am today, is because I failed right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, it's like I come from an MMA background, and there is nothing better for you than getting your ass fucking beat, dude. Yeah. I was young, dumb, and full of cum at one point in my life, and I was like, I'm going to do MMA full time. Yeah. I'm going to do it. So I moved my ass to Canada for a month to go train at TriStar, which at the time was GSP's gym. So GSP is the MMA GOAT. Yeah. And I remember I went in for that first session, and I got a beat down worse than I'd ever had in my life, because I was coming from a small working class town in England, and I was kind of like,
from him or from somebody else?
From everyone in the gym, dude. From everyone.
George St. Pierre beat the fuck out of me.
If it was just George, I would have been like, oh, okay, that's okay. It wasn't. It was everyone. It was these no names in the gym, and it was a reality check. So I was coming from this small gym in the northwest of England where you're like top of the heap, you're one of the big dogs in the gym, and then you go out to where the real big dogs are, and you realize you're at the bottom. But that month grew me more than the previous probably 5 years of experience, because I got my ass beat so bad. But what was really fulfilling on that journey, which is probably like what you experienced when you DNF'd and then came back and beat it. It was even more monumental, because like all the thoughts came up. Like, I was in the dorm rooms, and I was like, I think I should fake an injury. What if I said
I thought that same thing during a race.
What if I said one of my family members is sick and I've got to go home? And there was just like something in me that was like, no.
But it's that moment, it's that thought, because I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've done that. I did that during Leadville when I was walking for the last 50K. And I remember I told my brother was there, my little brother, and I was like, no matter what, I was like, I am only done if I am hurt. And I remember walking, and I was like, I'm going to tell him that I sprained my ankle. And then 3 hours went by, and I told myself that the entire time, and I got to that aid station, and I saw him there, and I couldn't bring myself to say it. Yeah. And I didn't, and I just kept on walking, and I kept on walking, and I kept on walking. Granted, it still didn't finish, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And I feel like that right there is where you enter. People aren't going to understand what we're talking about, because you don't know until you got to that point.
Yeah, you got to go right to the break.
That's the point that just turns it over. Like, that's the point that just puts you right where you need to be.
You mentioned Goggins. I think he calls it like going to the lab. Oh, that might be a DeWalter, maybe.
It's the cookie jar. Yeah.
Like where other people are like, no, thank you, I don't want to go to that place. Yeah. Some special niche kind of savage is like, I gotta get to that place. Yeah. Maybe that's why you keep going back, right? Because like, it's hard. Oh fuck, is it hard? And
I got there once during the Texas run this year. And it was, like, when I look back at that point, it was the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. And it lasted about 4 hours. And it was just horrific.
Well, you're meeting everything there, right? You're meeting God, you're meeting yourself, you're meeting...
So what happened was, just to kind of explain this to the listener, I don't even remember what day it was. Probably the 6th, 7th, 8th day. And the reason, it's so funny looking back at it now, because that day... the next day was my worst whoop recovery ever. And like, so I know that like your body gets into this, like, I think that was the turning point day. you know, like where everything kind of started getting a little better after that, as better as it could get.
Yeah.
But I got to the RV and we usually stopped anywhere from 20 to 25. We stopped and it was the hottest day. And I ate the RV and I just felt like I was like, fuck, like I just don't want to be here. And we had just got off the interstate and you get onto the FM roads, which is farm to market. Fun story about that is those are roads that Texas has installed because they were the quickest way to the cities. That's what the FM, if you see a road that says FM 200, that's farm to market road. So that's the fastest road to get to the city. So we get on this and it's old. Like these are old roads. We get on this farm to market and it's like this. And I mean, you can see, like it's just up, down. It's like highway, can't see. Highway, can't see. And it's 96, 97 degrees Fahrenheit. And I leave at 25 and I walked from 25 to 35. I did not run a single mile. I had on my like face mask, my face covering, long sleeves because it was so hot. And this was the first time I've ever done this, but I haven't talked about this yet. What I did is I was in my own suffering. Like I was just staring at the ground and I'm like, I can't look up because when I'd look up, I would see what was coming and I just couldn't fathom that. And I had a friend running with me at the time, Kevin, and I'm like, you know, he was just talking to me and I wouldn't talk to him back. And then finally I was like, you just need to get the hell out of here. Like just go get in the car because I am not in a place to be around anybody. And I put my headphones on and I played like motivational compilations, you know, of like motivational men is like, you know what I typed. And it was the first time ever where it was very different because traditionally listening to this, you get motivated, you know, and you're like allowing these guys to hype you up. Like Goggins is like, you know, don't let the inner bitch win and, you know, put your hand in the cookie jar and pull that out and you're strong. And for me, it was like, I still remember that there was a point where Tom Brady came on and Tom Brady was, you know, saying something. And I had this like vision that was very vivid. And it was like, I kept putting myself in the room with these men. And instead of being motivated by them, I almost made it like we were having a conversation. Mm-hmm. And he was speaking to me, telling me that. And I was there with him. Like I put myself in the room. And I don't know, that's just a fun, you know, it's just, because your mind does so many things.
Oh, dude, it's wild.
And, you know, there was something about that moment where, you know, instead of just being motivated, I'm like, my mind decided to go to that room. And it was different. It was different.
It's like at those edges, it's almost psychedelic in a way. It's like
100%.
Right.
Like it was the way, I mean, I was definitely swaying back. Like they ended up putting me in the car. I was showing signs of heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
But like I felt high.
Yeah.
Like it was out of body. Like when I tell you like this vivid vision of me being in the room, like I was looking down at the ground, just closing my eyes, just walking on this, you know, shoulder. And because there's no one on these roads and I was just there.
Yeah. It's as real as
not,
like, yeah.
I was not walking. And then I open my eyes and I come back and I'm walking, you know, and it's like,
it's crazy, man.
And then, yeah, the mind is so powerful.
It's very powerful. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
When you're doing things, especially given your trajectory over the last few years in particular, in terms of the amount of eyeballs on you, and when you put yourself on the hook in the way that you do, like, I'm going to do this, there's increasing layers of pressure. Pressure's a privilege. Yeah. How do you feel with that?
I love it.
Yeah.
Like I do. I love it. And, you know, I even did that back before I had followers. And that was kind of, you know, just kind of like we talked about when we first opened this up was, you know, how things of the past have molded me now. And I remember, you know, when I first wanted to run, I told my mom, because my mom's my biggest fan, obviously, like single mom, you know, like I go to my mom for everything. And I remember telling my mom, I'm going to do this 6-hour endurance run. Like, I'm going to run for 6 hours. She's like, what? That's crazy. I barely ran for 4 and I couldn't go anymore. I could barely walk. But like, I went to my mom and I was like, I'm going to do this. I went to my little brother and I was like, I'm going to, I would tell everybody within my family, like, I'm going to do this because I felt like that held me accountable.
Yep.
And now transitioning into social media, it's like, if I have this idea and it's locked in, like I tell everybody, hey, like this is going down. Because then when you're out there, it gives you that extra layer of like, everyone is watching.
Right.
And I cannot fuck this up.
Yep.
And, you know, when you get to that dark point, you know, where you want to quit and, you know, you don't need to quit. You have that within you where you're like, everyone is watching me do this. I cannot let them down. And when you're, you know, it's not about the fame. It's not about the notoriety. It's not about, you know, you doing it to prove a point. You know, it really depends on, you know, you have to look at it the right way. Like to me, I'm like, I have to show people that they can do this too.
That's right.
And, you know, it's not like, oh, I have to do it because I want them to clap for me. Like, no, like, yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, it's cool. But like having people that would message me and be like, I was going out like on day 11 when I saw you do XYZ, I had to run 5 miles that morning. And at mile 3, I wanted to quit, but I knew that you were out there doing it. So I ran 10 miles.
That's it.
And I was like, bang, like, yes, that is why I do what I do. Because if I get to live this beautiful life, thank you, God, but I get to live this beautiful life because, you know, I was watching Nick Bear in late 2020. I was watching Goggins. I was watching Cameron Haynes. You know, I was watching these people and they did the same thing for me. And my entire fucking life changed because I said, I'm going to be these people. I'm going to put myself in the room with these people. I'm going to put myself in the same conversation. And if I can do that for just one person, then my life is fulfilled.
Yeah, dude.
You know, or it gives me a little bit of fulfillment to my life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want. Like, I just want to make people laugh. I just want to, you know, I just want to give people everything that I didn't have growing up, you know, or that I want to give them someone to, you know, just, that's why someone's normal. You know, that's why I do the content of the, you know, off the wall shit, the smoking a doobie in the ice tub, the, you know, smoking a cigarette. And, you know, I always say, like, you know, you really, if you listen to my podcast, you know who I am. That I don't smoke cigarettes every day. Like, I don't, you know, honestly, I can't remember the last time I smoked a full cigarette. I may be like, if I am on Instagram and you see me smoking a cigarette, that's the only time I would smoke a cigarette. I think there was one other time. It was when I DNF'd Tahoe and I broke my shit. And we went and got hammered at the casino, and I came back and I smoked a drunk cigarette. The full thing down to the nub. But other than that, I don't remember the last time I smoked a cigarette. Yeah. You know, but like it's more of like a metaphor and just showing people like, I am you. Like,
humanizes
I'm not this fucking, this elite athlete, and, you know, like, I don't look a certain way. You know, I'm not ripped. I don't have a six pack. Like, I'm skinny as fuck because I run.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's why. Like if you see me with abs, I guess maybe I do have a six pack. I don't know. But it's because I run. It's not because I'm aesthetically trying to look a certain way. You know, like, I am just normal. And, you know, and that's what I'm trying to just show people is it's like the cigarette's like a metaphor for like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. And I'm just trying to show them that.
I call it holistic degeneracy.
Yeah.
In the health world, it's very, I mean, it's so much of, there's just a show, like the show of like, I only eat, you know, grass-fed and finished, like my cows were hand massaged by a lady monk. And it's like, okay, but at a certain point, it's very unrelatable. Mm-hmm. It's very unrelatable. And I think people, especially, which is an interesting landscape to be a part of, like the increasing world of media, of AI, of things that are going to get kind of like squashed into perfection. I think people are going to increasingly crave the raw, the real, the human, the person that does incredible shit.
They do. No,
and also has a beer.
They already do, because like I'll notice, I posted my last 3 reels. I posted a reel and it was like, I ran 37 ultra marathons this year. That was one every 9 days, blah, 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 4,500 miles. 80,000 views, right? Yesterday, I posted a video of me smoking a cigarette in my car, drinking an energy drink, and it was at like 3:30 when I walked in here. You know, like 80,000 views in 3 days, 330,000 views in 24 hours.
Right.
Like, people love it when I post about me doing off-the-wall shit.
Yeah.
And some of it's hate comments, some of it's, doesn't matter, but like people want to see real life. Like they don't want to see like, this is everything I ate
yes.
to, and the fucking use raw honey on like, yeah, that's cool. But like people don't really want to see it that much anymore.
Right.
Unless you've already built your entire platform on that. Paul Saladino,
Mm-hmm.
His entire platform is built on one thing. And if he continues to do it, it's going to
work.
Yeah, it's great. But like if Paul Saladino, terrible example, but roll with it here. Paul Saladino was to go smoke a cigarette, that audience wouldn't give a shit. If you didn't know who Paul Saladino was and you saw him smoking a cigarette, they'd be like, who the fuck's this guy?
Right.
I don't care. Right? But like if I made a video about this is everything I ate in a day and I had dried mango and steak and eggs and sourdough. Cool, dude, smoke a cigarette. It's kind of about what you build on the platform as well.
For sure.
But yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more complicated.
Yeah, it is. But what's always going to cut through the complicated is authenticity. And that's a word that all these words get bastardized, right?
Because it's cut the bullshit.
It's cut the bullshit.
It is cut the bullshit. Like
Show me who you are.
Yeah, like I have a friend and that doesn't matter. That'd be the whole rabbit hole that I don't want to go down about his social media because I'll get clipped on that for sure. The trendy voiceovers and, I ran a marathon in these shoes. It's done. You remember back in the day, 2023, maybe you remember, maybe you don't. Everyone would do the phone and they'd be like, mile 1,
yes,
8:51.
Yeah.
Mile 2, 8. Mile 3, 9. It's gone now.
It's gone, dude. You don't see
those. It's gone
those.
because no one cares what mile split you ran.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go out and you throw a cigarette in your mouth, you light a cigarette and you run the miles. People are like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, it's all a fact. It's the same thing, right? Like the content and the social media will, go through waves. And, as long as you stick to, who you are and just be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what, everyone's like, what's the biggest advice that you have? I'm like, be you. But, like, not everyone can do it, unfortunately. Like, I hate to – that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But I don't think you have to have a personality.
Yeah.
And there's people that don't.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But social media is for some people, and sometimes social media isn't.
Yeah, that's right, man. I've been thinking about this a lot recently because, like everybody that is online is echoing that advice because I think we all feel it. Like, just be a fucking human, be authentic. But it's like, okay, be authentic. What does that mean? Well, if you're actually going to be who you are and put that out into the world, which means you're making yourself vulnerable to not only praise, but criticism too. It means you've got to have an underlying level of confidence. So, like, where's the confidence entering for you? Have you always been confident? Is that something that you didn't have, but you earned through these hard efforts? Or do you feel like that's always been something you've been capable of doing?
I definitely feel like I've had this fine line, as I, like, I don't know. It's so hard because when I was younger, I was actually like I was super chubby as a kid, like, and I'm talking like up to like 15 years old. Like I was like I remember we did some type of weight thing in like 3rd grade, and I was triple digits in 3rd grade.
Damn.
Yeah. Like I was chunky, and
you know that, right?
Yeah,
you know
it,
you feel it.
Yeah. But I feel like I started slimming down into high school, got in the military, got super overweight. Not like overweight, but like I had like man titties and like a beer belly because I was partying in the military, drinking beer all the time. And then we were getting ready to go on a deployment, and I was like, oh fuck, like I'm gonna die. And I ended up I starved myself. That was me first getting into fitness, was 2015, because we were getting ready to go on a deployment, and I went to Anytime Fitness in Knoxville, Iowa. And I watched this dude that was there, and I would literally 3 minutes after he would do an exercise, I would follow. And I just watched what he was doing. And then outside of that, I would just, outside the gym, I got into I hate saying eating disorders because I feel like so many people, but it was for sure 100% an eating disorder. And I went from, I was 167 pounds, and right before we left, Deployment ended up not happening. But right before we left to go to this training cycle, I was 127.
Oh, geez.
And I saw my abs for the first time.
Right.
And I was like, oh. And that I was hooked.
Yeah.
Like once that I like saw my abs, and I did not do it in a good way.
Yeah.
But like once I saw that fitness, I was like, okay, that was 2015. I let it go. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Like it was all, you know, up and down, up and down, up and down. But like I would still go to the gym, you know? But I mean, I have pictures from 2020 COVID where I was like nasty,
Yeah.
you know, because it's military and we didn't have to go to work and I was just drinking the whole time, you know, and like I did not look good, but like I was always going to the gym every now and then. But I feel like 2021 in Virginia, where I'm going at with this is the confidence was there at one point when I got super skinny and I like saw my six pack for the first time, which I probably looked better then because I had nothing on me. I feel like I learned the confidence, right? Mm-hmm. And I've always been like, you ask my mom, like I've always been a cocky little asshole for sure, like my entire life. That's just my personality. So I feel like I've learned to ride this line of cockiness and confidence. Mm-hmm. And if you ride that line correctly, you're all right. There's a lot of people that end up drifting way too far into the cockiness. And, you know, for me, I feel like, you know, I have enough on my resume where I've backed it up.
That's right. Yeah.
And you know, I've done what I've said I'm going to do multiple times.
Right. You've got the evidence.
And and traditionally when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I've said multiple things. I'm going to win this 100 miler. I won the 100. I'm going to, you know, do this Ironman. I'm going to PR the Ironman. I PR'd the Ironman. I'm going to run a marathon and do an Ironman in the same week. I won the fucking marathon and I PR'd the Ironman all within 6 days. Yeah. You know, like I ran across Texas. I'm going to run across Texas again. You know, like I've done it. Yeah. And so right now I have the highest confidence I've ever had. Yeah. You know, but I do believe you have to have it inside of you and then do things like I just, you know, have these series of events happen to kind of build that. But, you know, if you're more of an introvert, social media probably isn't for you. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
You're going to be one of those savages just grinding in the dark. You don't need to put everything on.
I have a guy that I follow. I actually coached him. And he came to me, and his name's Jimbo Washington. And he came to me, and he was like, yo, he's like, I need coaching. I'm like, all right, like, you know, the traditional call is, you know, how many miles a week have you ran, you know, and what's your longest run in the last 90 days? How many miles a week you ran? Probably about 100. What's your longest run? 30. I'm like, what the hell? And like, I like we're on a call. I go to his Instagram, and sure enough, like I see he's got 300 followers, and he's, you know, this dude is nuts. He literally will just go out and he ran 100 miler around his town.
That's insane.
And like, no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
And if I showed up at any start line with this dude, I would be nervous. Yeah. I would be nervous right now. Mm-hmm. Like he's different. And no one knows who he is. Yeah. You know, like there are people out there where you know, you got to be careful sometimes.
Yeah, there's some savages out there.
You never know who's going to show up.
No, dude.
It don't matter who you are.
Some tough bastards, man.
Oh, 100%.
I like what you said, though, about that confidence, like, being earned, because I think all men want to feel confident more than anything else, like, because confidence is kind of a key that, like, opens up the world to you, because if you are actually confident and you've got the receipts to back it up, you can ride this wave of doing, like, big ridiculous things because you're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go do it. Like, but if you don't have the evidence and you say I'm gonna go run across Texas and you've got no evidence, no proof, no receipts, you might find yourself in trouble. You know, you're too arrogant. But the reason it's important to point that out is it does show you that there is a linear path to growing in confidence, and it's just increasing the scope of what you do and proving it over and over and over. It's just like riding a bike.
You know, like we start with training wheels, and then we take a wheel off, then we take the other wheel off, and then we crash the bike a couple times, and then we're riding the bike. Yeah. You know, like you have to start somewhere. Start small. You know, that's the biggest thing with everybody. It's like, you know, you got to start small and build that up. You know, I'm going through this confidence thing with Kyle right now. Kyle Forgard from the Nelk Boys.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, we're going through this confidence thing. Like, you know, he came to me about this live stream 100. And, you know, like, I'm like, you know, I'm talking to him. He don't have a fucking idea about nothing. Shoes, socks, shorts, clothes. He don't have no idea. And, you know, and that's like, okay, like how long we got? Well, we got 9 weeks. I'm like, okay, like I know that I need to give him little wins.
Yeah.
You know, like we got to do a 10 miler. Then we got to do a back-to-back 10-10. Then we got to do a back-to-back 10-20. You know, and then I'm going to peak him at, you know, he's going to run his first 50K, you know, and because he's like, okay, I ran 60 miles this week and that's, you know, I still have 40 more miles to run all in one day, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and look at him. Like, you know, in the YouTube world, he's one of the most famous people in the world. And in this other realm, because if I was to put him on camera, done. He's ready.
Black belt.
Yeah. Confident.
Black belt over here, white belt over here.
Yeah. So, you know, you have to, and it's the areas, you know, the confidence doesn't just come with social media, you know,
right.
and that's at your job. That's in your home with your partner. That's, you know, you have to learn confidence in everything that you do. Mm-hmm. Not just in one, you know, not just in fitness.
Yes, right.
It's in life.
It's
everything you do. Confidence in cooking, right? Like, I mean, think about that. It's like, oh, you know, back when we were, you know, 18, 19 years old, we were probably fucking up mac and cheese in the microwave, right? You know, and then now it's like, dude, I can make a mean steak.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like it's like, you know, but how did we learn? Because we fucked it up over and over and over again. And I feel like people get so caught up and they're like, well, I need to be good at running right now. And I'm like, do you remember like 20 years ago when you couldn't even pour a bowl of cereal without spilling the milk?
Yeah.
How did you learn? Well, I just kind of grew up and just kept making the bowl.
Infinite amount of reps, right?
And just keep doing it.
It seems like an oversimplified example of this, but I have 2 young children at home,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize that babies are helpless for a long time.
Yeah.
They can't do anything. They can't talk. They can't move.
One of my friends posted, do you know Judd? What's his last name? He's a ex-Army Ranger. He's got like 700,000 followers on Instagram. He posted a photo of his son, or like a reel. And it was like, I just came to the realization his son's like toddler. That kids have no instincts and try to kill themselves every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like.
Always.
Yeah.
It's radically endangering their lives.
Yeah. They have no instincts and they just try to kill themselves every single day.
Yeah. And then they learn it.
Yeah.
With enough failures, with enough head bunks, with enough like, okay, I'm not going to let you actually do that one because you might actually kill yourself. So we're gonna get off this tabletop or whatever. But they learn, like, you developed into a fully functioning adult that can actually speak a language. Uh-huh. You've learned how to walk. Like you've done hard things, typically speaking.
Overcomplicate.
They overcomplicate it.
That is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I love that you just said that because it's like, that's something so simple I didn't even realize. You learned how to crawl.
Yes.
Then you learned how to stand. Then you learned how to walk.
Yeah.
Then you learned how to talk. Then you learn math and algebra. Like, it's the same thing.
Dude.
You just have to keep doing it until you get it.
Yes.
And that's where I think that's why most people quit when it comes to fitness. Because they think, oh, I should go to the gym today and have a six-pack tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like, no, like that's like a baby coming out of the womb and saying, stand.
Ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And like, it's just sometimes I don't think we value enough of the things that we find so easy now, because there's like this perception that if it's valuable, it's got to be hard. So some people miss their own natural talents because it comes easy to them, but it's so admirable from other people in the world. Mm-hmm. And a perspective here just imagine if your hunter-gatherer ancestors could see you like driving a car, looking at your phone, changing the song, talking to someone. They'd be like, this motherfucker is from the future. Yeah. He's flying a spaceship right now and he's barely even watching the road. And you're like, that's not impressive. Yeah. But it's just a complex milieu of really actually complex skills that you've learned that everybody does now. So nobody thinks driving a car is impressive.
What do you think caused the... What is the question here I'm asking? What do you think caused the worldwide people being scared of diving into something? Like you know what I mean? Like what happened to all of us that are sitting here in this room right now to where we're like, fuck, like I'm nervous to like go to the gym because, I want to be fit, but like I'm not going to be fit right away.
Yeah.
And it's like, what caused us to like learn how to stand, walk, read, write, go to school, get a job, and then we're like, I don't know about fitness because like that seems really hard. Like what causes that breakdown?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. So I was recently thinking about this because I was in the park with my kids. And I was just like, my kids were taking care of themselves. So I was like just observing everybody else. And the number one thing said in the playground by other parents to their kids is, be careful, be careful, be careful. And it's not fair to do that to kids. Like you said with your mate, and what I've seen in my toddlers, sometimes they're trying to friggin' kill themselves and maim themselves. But enough of that cultural baggage over time where everyone in your life is saying like, be careful, be careful.
Yeah.
It just teaches you to be fearful.
Yeah.
It teaches you to be scared of taking risks, and anything that you are going to endeavor on is a risk. Now, it's not life or death. Like, whether you get good at fitness or not is not life or death, but psychologically, I think it feels kind of like life or death. And because we're so scared, and maybe this is like a deeper philosophical question of like, I think the way a lot of people live their life is determined by their uninvestigated beliefs about death. Like how you view God and religion and what actually happens when you die. Because if you've really thought through that and you've made peace with it, if that's the worst thing that happens, then everything else is just meh. You know, why not take the risk? I mean, the only thing we do know about death is that it's perfectly safe. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
So if not, why not take a risk? But
that's interesting.
It's a really interesting one because it does seem to be the kind of the beautiful burden of being a human is there are some people that just can get themselves to that place to like throw themselves in at the deep end and long-term gratification and be excited by a challenge, and then there's other people just seem to be paralyzed and stuck in fear, and that eats at them. You know, it eats at their soul.
Yeah, that makes me wonder, like, because I have this thing within me where, like, I don't know how to say, like, not that I don't care, but like when I approach a lot of things in life, I'm like, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you know, oh, you know, do you want to leave this brand and go to this brand? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, like, then my manager's like, oh, like, but this brand, you know, and I'm like, it's just business.
Yeah.
You know, or like thinking about things in life where like, it's like, oh, you know, damn, we broke the picture. It's like, okay, like, well, just buy a new one.
Yeah.
And, you know, my fiance and I have a lot of conversations about that now where I maybe lack a little bit of empathy and sympathy for a lot of things. Because I really live by this mentality. I'm like, well, you know, I mean, I live by this mentality of I can't, like, oh my gosh, that is really bad. Then you move on. Because, like, the longer that you stay in it, the more, like, why stay in it?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I got in a car crash. Oh, no, my car is totaled. And you go home and you sit and you cry and that just makes it all worse.
Dude, I think you'll like this. So there's this old story. Apparently it was the Buddha, but he said that there's like, he called it the life of two arrows.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said, the first arrow that strikes you is the happenstances of life. Like you get in the car crash.
Yeah.
Like when you get struck by an arrow, it hurts. The car crash hurts.
Yeah.
The second arrow is the self-inflicted arrow that you stick in your own guts and say, this is bullshit, poor me, my car payment, I'm never going to I've got trauma now. And it's life is full of arrows. Yeah. But the second arrow that we keep putting in is the one that really gets us. That's the suffering. You know?
And I feel like I use that in endurance sports a lot. Because it's like, oh, like I thought my Achilles was torn. For sure. Like I thought it was fucked. And, you know, when it happened, it was like, okay, like they had to tell me like, hey, we need to drop a 30 today. So you're done earlier, you know? And I'm like, fuck it. Like, let's walk to 50 and I'll just do it, you know? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think in that moment, my crew would probably say I was saying different things, but you know, but like it's like, okay, ouch, my Achilles hurts. Now I can sit down for 4 hours and moan and groan and cry about it.
Right.
Or we just keep going because we don't have a choice.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and I feel like there's a lot of things, and I feel like it's that we don't have a choice. I feel like there was a lot of things in my life with my mom where it was like, hey, like we don't really have a choice. Right. Like, hey, tonight we're going to have this Kraft macaroni and cheese and it's 99 cents and this is, you and I are going to split it. Well, I don't want that. Well, you don't have a choice.
Tough shit.
Like you either don't eat or you eat it.
Yes. You
know, and I feel like going back to the very beginning where it was like it's all about these things that happen to us that lead us, you know, into this longevity of who we are.
Absolutely, man. Rogan's got this very simple but very interesting idea where he says, you got to understand about people. The worst thing that ever happened to them is the worst thing that ever happened to them. So if you take somebody whose worst thing that ever happened to them was really fucking bad, then the minor inconveniences life thereafter is kind of like, okay, it sucks. Yeah. And what's next? Yeah. If you take a sheltered population that have been hidden from the elements, that have been helicopter parented, that have had everything taken care of for them, best colleges, never had to suffer. The worst thing that ever happened to those people is, I don't know, they felt embarrassed one time at a party.
Yeah.
Or the Starbucks put oat milk in instead of whole milk.
Well, you can take that down to even the most animalistic aspect. And like you take a bear that was born in a cage, and then 10 years later you take them and you drop them in the woods.
Yeah, good luck.
They ain't gonna know what the fuck to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that is about to happen is bad. Oh, I have to go look for my food? They're not even, you know what I'm, like even down, as soon as you said that, I went straight to a caged animal.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Well, that's exactly what we are.
No idea.
Yeah. Who was it? I think it was Young that said too much domestication of the animal makes it sick. So you take a tiger and you put it in the zoo, and then you feed it whatever you're feeding it, and it's you never go to. I mean, it's cool to see the animals in the zoo, but there's always that thing in the back of your head like, this is fucked. This is fucked, always. Yeah. So you're like, I don't think we want to come to zoos anymore. Like, the animals are badass, but like they're not supposed to be here. And then you look at modern life and you look at humans and you're like, oh, kind of like zoo animals. Yeah. Fed slop, told what to do,
and
told what to think.
The ones that do different things are the weird ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've always had this, what do you want? Do you want peaceful slavery or do you want dangerous freedom?
Yeah. I remember I told my boss, to put it in the best words, when I was in the military, I was like, I want to get out of the military. And it was like, this is the worst idea you've ever had. You are never going to even be close to being as successful as you will be here. You need to take care of your family. You need the stability. Like you don't have any qualifications to go do anything else. Like you're going to be living on the streets type of vibe. And I look at that now and I'm like, man, I really hope that you're still enjoying sitting at that desk.
I hope you're watching this.
100%. Like I got fired up and I made a post about it. This guy was it was just the worst person that I had ever had in charge of me. And I got really fired up and I made a post and I was like, I hope that you're enjoying that desk job where I made more in a month than you made in an entire year.
Yeah, dude.
Have fun sitting at that fucking desk. And I made this long post and I put it on. I post on my Facebook is just my friends and family, and I know he's my friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I made this post because it was the largest month I had ever had, and I'm very blessed and grateful. I'm not an asshole, I promise everybody. But at that same time, I had a memory pop up, and I blah blah blah. Anyways, I made a post.
Well, it's so important, man, because in an alternate reality, are you saying of all those paths? There's another version of you that might have been like, fuck, he's right. And then you're living the peaceful slavery. Sure, you've got the benefits and the salary's steady and all of that stuff, but inside of you, there's a spiritual sickness because you let another person's ceiling become your limit.
Yeah.
And fuck that.
The military uses the free insurance. That's where they try to
Yeah.
What was really cool, though, is I went to Tahoe. When I broke my shit in Tahoe, I got a really large bill for that, and I don't have insurance, and I just paid it.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, I don't need your fucking insurance.
That's the ultimate flex. I don't need insurance because hopefully nothing goes wrong.
When I got that bill, I wanted the insurance, but
doubt,
it was that's a whole bad rabbit hole to go down as well. But yeah, man, it's it's a fun life.
Yeah. We were speaking about like the healthy degenerate lifestyle, but at the same time you said realistically that's some of the times I'd take my phone out to record it because it's funny and it humanizes me. But I imagine the kind of feats and endeavors that you're partaking on, they require a high level of output. I think sometimes the perception from the outside is, how's this guy fucking doing this, just living off C4s and nicotine pouches? But globally speaking, do you pay a lot of attention to nutrition? And you told me off you're a data freak, so you're tracking recovery and all of that stuff. Yeah. So how's that?
Yeah. I've really locked into this. I pay a lot of attention to what I eat. When we're at home, like when I'm locked into training, like we don't go out to eat. We barely ever go out to eat at all. Traditionally, I love, like, I would say the number one thing I eat is an acai bowl from Sun Life. Sun Life Organics, which is all just completely organic and fresh fruit and acai and noble protein, and which is grass-fed beef protein. And so if it's not an acai bowl, I just want to clear that first. We go out, like, I fuck up acai bowls.
Heck yeah.
Shout out Khalil and Sun Life Organics. Thank you. But traditionally, like, my diet consists of if I'm doing higher fat when I'm running, a lot of eggs
Mm-hmm.
and sourdough and fruit. That's
Mhm.
I snack a lot, but I eat 2 meals a day. So like before I came here, right now I'm lower fat because I'm not running as much. So it's probably 2 cups of egg whites, 2 eggs mixed together, throw it on the burner, 2 pieces of sourdough, and traditionally some type of fruit like bananas. Like I'll have a banana, some mango, some watermelon. Like I'll have fruits with that. One of my buddies owns mangoes, Mikey.
Oh, Mike, yeah.
Yeah, Mike's a
That's
great friend of
funny,
mine.
dude. So I saw Mike at Squatch a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I tease him all the time. I'm like, when you coming on the pod? He's like, I'm camera shy, dude. I'm camera shy. So we're shouting out Mike. We're calling you out, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Come on the show.
Podcast. But I'll clear a bag of his mango in a day, which is, I don't know, 200 grams of carbs, So I'll snack on that mango throughout the day as well. And then in the evening, it's at least 1 to 2 pounds of some type of meat. When I'm running heavily, it's, steak, 90-10 ground beef. Right now, a lot of chicken and 99% ground turkey, just because I'm laying off of the fats because I don't need the extra calories. Because I eat a lot. And what I notice is I can cut down anywhere from 500 to 1,000 calories just on fat.
Yeah.
Because Texas was fueled off of no bullshit. Like outside of all of the donuts and shit that you saw me eating, Texas was fueled off of 1 stick of butter, over a pound plus of ribeye, and mashed potatoes and eggs.
Boom.
Like I ate that every single night.
Yeah.
Every single night to get all the micronutrients that I needed. All day donuts and bullshit and sugars. But like at night, 1 pound to 2 pounds of grass-fed ribeye, eggs, a stick of butter mashed in with potatoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I eat, we eat very healthy. Maybe once a week, to be completely transparent, maybe once a week we'll go out and, and we'll have a couple drinks and, chicken fingers or, like share a pizza or something like that. But that's maybe once a week. Right now we're absolutely dialed until we do this 100 with Kyle. So, not doing any of that right now. But yeah, I'm pretty locked in on diet. But I love, I'm a fiend for Amanda, my fiance, always makes fun of me because I'm like, she'll be, I'm going to go get a salad, and she'll come back and it'll have, some type of dressing on it. And I'm like, like you just want all those seed oils, don't you? And then I'll smack 2 protein bars a day that are like, sunflower oil. And she's, if I ever bring up seed oils around anybody, she makes sure to tell everybody that like I am a nothing but a liar because I I snack on bars. I love, like, I probably eat right now. Actually, I found a really, really good bar. Creatures of Habit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Michael Chernow just came out with this daily bar.
Yeah.
Has 3 grams of creatine in it.
That's dope.
Very, very minimal ingredients. Very good. And usually I'll do like 2 of those bars a day. So it's like 40 extra grams of protein. Yeah. And then I'll snack on like mango and stuff like that. But
hell yeah.
I'm pretty dialed in.
What's the body saying these days after racking up so many miles? You said 37 ultras in a year. Like what's the ankles, the knees, the joints like?
Yeah, after Texas, right now, man, I don't know. I haven't really been thinking about it, but I remember after Texas, probably the last the first month after Texas, man, I get out of bed and everything below my waist just hurts. Yeah. Like I get out of, like, my feet would hurt, my ankle, and I'm talking like I'm recovered. I'm recovered and still, like, I'll wake up and I'll just hurt while I walk around and get my coffee, and then but then I go run 10 miles, 5 miles. Yeah. But it feels good. The biggest thing that like I don't know if I said on this or if I just told you, but like I'm over it. I'm trying to, I've lived this. I drank that fucking water and it like
the bubbles.
You just heard me. I took one drink of that. It's been bubbling this entire time. My body hurts.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like I don't want to do this 20-day event because outside of all the funnies I make on social media, like I believe that ultra running is unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's not like, because I told Brett Ender this. We were sitting at Sun Life as soon as I got back. Like, I mean, it had to be, I got back on Friday. It had to be Saturday or Sunday. And we're sitting there eating, and he's like, what are you like most excited about? And I'm like, I can eat whatever I want. And he kind of laughs. And then I realized like what that sounded like. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I mean that I can like not eat or eat steak and eggs. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, dog, like when I was peak training for Texas, when I was running 140 miles a week, I was waking up at 6 a.m. and literally eating cosmic brownies for breakfast before I would go run. And then I was drinking a Coke and a donut.
Because you just need constant fuel.
And I don't care what anybody says. I do not care. I'll die on this hill. Yes, sure, there are people that have done it, but you cannot run. Man, there's one guy, Cameron. I can't remember his last name. Anyways, you can't run ultra marathons like that without some type of add-in. You know, like I can't get the adequate amount of calories and fat because I can't fit it in my stomach.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the point. Like as people talk about, oh, if you would just eat fucking steak and rice, you would be skinny. You know, it don't matter if you eat 5 pounds of it or not. Like you're gonna be full.
Yeah.
Like that shit fills you up. And you know, I could eat. Let's talk about fat. What? Probably 40 grams of fat in a ribeye. I'd probably need 4 ribeyes a day.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I'd need 4 ribeyes a day, which is gonna be 4 pounds of ribeyes in me. But then I have no carbs, so now I need carbs, right? So let's go with
right?
Yeah, let's go with clean carbs. A sweet potato probably has 50 grams of carbs. That's a 1 pound sweet potato. So go 4 pounds of sweet potato. That's now 8 pounds of food. So I'm going 8 pounds of food, and I didn't even get all of the calories I needed.
Yeah.
And that was just to get carbs. You know, that was it right there.
Yeah.
That's your carbs, proteins, and fat you need. 4 1 pound sweet potatoes and 4 ribeyes.
Sheesh.
I can't do that.
No.
That's 8 pounds. So, you know, for me, it was like, okay, what's the most calorie-dense, small amount of food I can get? Peanut butter, donuts, and cosmic brownies, as well as Pop-Tarts.
I love it, dude.
Right? But, like, fuck, man, it is not healthy. And you don't feel good. Sure, you may look good, but you don't feel good. And your hormones are all fucked up, and your test is low, and your estrogen is high. The craziest part of all of this is my estrogen when I finished Texas was 66. And anybody that knows normal's like 20-ish and under, 66.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, make that make sense.
Stress response.
Yeah. I mean, obviously everything was elevated.
Everything.
But like when I saw my estrogen at 66 and it was almost reading off the charts.
Yeah. Did you see your test?
I'm like, what?
Like, where was your test at?
So I took my test after, like a month after, and it was probably, I think it was like 8 something.
Oh.
But traditionally, or no. I took the 8 was before. So that was August.
Yeah,
so I did a draw on August 31st. 339, I think is what it was afterwards. Yeah, because because you see, that was it. So testosterone was 8 something. Estrogen was 20 something.
Right.
Testosterone was 3 something. Estrogen was 66.
Well, yeah, right.
And that was even after, that was a month after. I just got that done on November 12th. So that was about 3 weeks post Texas. So you should hopefully see the test climb. No.
Damn.
No. And that's a big worry for me is like, we want kids.
Right.
You know, like Amanda and I want to have, she's ready whenever.
Yep.
And that was a big thing too going into 2026 where I'm like, yo, like I need to get my shit figured out. Yeah, it's a little odd.
Is that, you know, I know you've talked about, and I know it's not super clear, but I know you've talked about moving into the new year and made comments around like a lot of these bigger, especially the longer day events. They're, you know, they require so much of a team to put into you, and you want to give back in a sense. Is that crystallizing into anything more clear, or is it taking shape in any way?
Yeah, you know, so we have, like we just talked about, you know, having Kyle and the Nelk boys, you know, they're doing this first ever live streamed 100 unsanctioned on their own in Vegas. And they're running like from the middle of nowhere to Vegas.
That's awesome.
So I'm heading that, you know, kind of Kyle, you know, got a hold of me. I was like, yo, I want you to coach me. And then it turned into like, yo, what do we need? You know, so I'm kind of heading the logistics and helping out with that. February, I'm heading to Bali. Jelly Roll chef Ian Larios is running. He's trying to set the record for the fastest time to run around the island of Bali.
What? That's a trip.
Yeah, so I'm going to crew chief him in February. Nothing on the calendar in March. Amanda wants to run 100K, my fiance, in April. May and June right now are set for training myself for an event I can't talk about yet in July. I can tell you about that off camera, but got this possible July event, and then we gotta get married.
Yeah, right on, dude. Then you gotta get married and make some babies.
Yeah. So we're thinking, the marriage has to be somewhere between August and October.
Right.
So that, I'm not gonna do anything in August through October, and then November, December, it's done. So I got one event this year, and I told my crew, I had a heart-to-heart with my crew. I remember it's pretty cool, to think back on now, because I can see the entire room, so that was a big moment. And it was the night before the finish, and I said to them in private, cameras off, I'm like, I feel like I've spent the last 3 years of my life being very selfish. Because it's been, I've just been Matt Johnson, go. I gotta get to where I need to be. And I'm like, and you all have been here for me every time I have asked. And I'm like, I want 2026 to be about me being there for you. I'm like, so if you have anything going on, call me.
Yeah.
And because they all are, and they all have been there, like Rob, Drew, Amanda, and Marcus, my brother, and Caleb McCoy, who he just ran across America at the beginning of this year. All of them were there last year and this year for me. And then we brought on Kevin and Nick, and then Brett Ender was there last year. Kevin and Nick were there this year. But just these people that are giving me days, weeks of their life.
It's incredible.
The first four that I mentioned, Marcus, Rob, Drew, and Amanda, that's 36 days that they have given me of their life. And what's really cool is I never thought about this, but Matt King, who has become a mentor to me, he came out and ran with me. Go Abundance, his group of people. It's very wealthy men. They donated $50,000 to Valor Fit.
Wow.
And he came out to run with me, and it was like he hit me over the head with a baseball bat. He was like, this is cool. He's like, this is all cool that you're doing. He goes, but don't forget that you're giving the most valuable thing that you have. And I'm like, buddy, what? What do you mean? And he's like, your time. He goes, because you will never, ever get this time back. And I was like, holy fuck. I'm like, dude, I am way too deep into this shit right now to comprehend this. But I thought about, that was 4 days before the finish. I've thought about that every day since then. Yeah. Where I'm like, outside of the money, we've raised over almost $200,000 for veterans. And that's awesome. I'm like, but myself and my team have given 36 days of our lives to do this. Yeah. I'm like, and the 36 days, I'll give those 36 days, but I think about the movie with the clock that's ticking down. You never know. And I'm like, man, they did that for me. I took 36 days from Rob. I took 36 days from Drew. I took 36 days from Amanda, from Marcus. I took 20 from Nick. I took, 8 from Kevin. I took 12 from Caleb. I took 7 from Brett. I know those numbers. Yeah.
It's funny because I'm sure if you ask them, they'd be like, yeah, we gave those times. They didn't take them, and it's all mutually beneficial. They were inspired too. They wanted to serve this mission. They couldn't be the man plodding the miles on the trail or on the road, but they could be part of something bigger, Yeah,
it's so cool.
It's all checks and balances, bro.
Yeah, it's cool to think about.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple of people. I'm just really curious because what's really awesome about the really positive side of social media is the connection, right? Yeah. Not just reading those messages of where that guy was not going to get out of bed and then he thought about that motherfucker Matt Johnson. He's like, shit, I gotta go run 10 miles. But these really inspirational figures. I know you were just in my neck of the woods training with Rich Fronin. You mentioned Jelly Roll. I'm curious, is he as much of a gem as a person in real life as he appears to be online?
Yeah, dude, he's a teddy bear. Yeah, he is a soft-hearted teddy bear. Yeah, Jelly's a really good dude. the biggest thing with him is, he treats his crew like family.
Yeah.
And, not everybody gets in. And if you get in, like, you are family. And, that was a huge thing for me. Like, we were just texting, he's got this flip phone. We were just texting, last week. And, I was like, hey, like, when, you want to train. And he was like, you come out whenever. He's like, you come to my house whenever. And I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah, what a trip.
Like, it's so cool to see.
He lost what? Like, he lost 200 pounds? Something crazy?
I think he might be. I think he is under 300, and I think he started around 550.
Jeez Louise, dude.
So, yeah. When does this podcast come out?
This will be out in like 3 weeks.
All right, yeah, I can't mention it yet. I'll tell you. I'll tell you off camera. He's got something really cool coming next month. That's gonna be really dope. But yeah, he's crushed it.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
He's crushed it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and then Kyle with the Nelk Boys, man, that was
that just how does that go? Is that just like you wake up one day and you've got a DM slid in?
So he made a post that said, he made a story post, and he said, I'm running 100 miles to Vegas. He's like, I need a coach. And people just started like sending it to me. They're like, you guys would fit together so much. Like, you're both psychos and, party crazy and all that fun stuff. So I know how Instagram goes. And I'm like, I'm not following him. He's not following me. I was like, there's no way I break through his DMs.
Yeah, no.
And
that's getting buried.
So I've thought of a friend who they have filmed together and talk about each other on their, So I reached out, and it was Chetty, Freezer Tarps, this Zen, incredible character. And I reached out to Chetty, and I was like, can you link me with Kyle? Like, I saw that he needs a coach. Like, bang. He, like, put Kyle and I in a group message.
Dope.
And Kyle's like, yo, dude. He's like, what's your cell? And I sent him my cell, and I was like, no way I hear from him. And I was sitting in the sauna, and I put my phone down. And literally as soon as it touched, I hear it, like, buzz. And I didn't even think about it. Like, I'm just like, oh, my phone's ringing. And I picked it up, and it's fucking Kyle calling me. And I answer it, and he's like, yo, let's go, dude. He's like, you ran across Texas. Like, this is dope. Like, blah, blah, blah. And there we were. And then it was like, he was like, I want you to come down and train. And I'm like, all right. So we went down to Miami and on Thanksgiving, which was crazy because I told Amanda, I was like, hey, I got to go to Miami with the Nelk Boys. I can't go to Thanksgiving. And I'm thinking she's going to tell me to kick rocks. I'm like, Miami with the Nelk Boys
that's kind of like a canon. Come on, I got to get a pass for that one.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, right? Like, we're just going to run, I swear. Yeah, sure. So we get down there in Miami, and yeah, man, we hung out and we slung miles and we just vibed. Yeah. And it was a blast. And he's such a good dude. Like, he's so normal. Yeah. So down to earth. Yeah, we slung like 30 miles in 3 days with a 20, maybe more. No, we ran 10, 20, 10, 40 miles maybe. I don't know. It was so cool. But yeah, I'm heading back down there on New Year's Eve. His peak week is New Year's week. And I think New Year's Eve we're doing like a double run to like run into the new year. So he's running like 10 miles that morning, 5 that night. He's like locked in. He's like, I'm not drinking. Like, we're gonna run. And then we got like 15, 30, 15. So it's gonna be a hell of a thing. I actually got a call with him in 2 hours here because we're trying to plan out. I want to do like a mock. Like, I want to grab a van and have him run in front of the van. And I'm thinking starting out on that Key Largo stretch and having him and some of the boys that are, because there's like 7 of them that are running together. Having them, and then like we crew, so that way they can get used to like, hey, what's this gonna be like? Because it's not a normal race, right? Like, you have a van that's tailing you and they're feeding you, and you're on the side of a highway. You want to get them comfortable with some cars. So yeah, we're gonna chat about that. But yeah, I think what's really cool is he's making a documentary about it, and the biggest thing for me, what's really cool about these guys is, yes, they care about what I've done, but at the same time, like, they just want someone to be around that is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
all about vibes, bro.
Yeah,
it's about vibes,
100%. Man. Like, they just want someone who's like, you ain't gonna tell my business. Yeah. You ain't gonna snitch on what I'm doing. You ain't gonna, be posting shit that someone that's smart, someone that knows. And that was like, You know, and the cool thing is when I was with Jelly, you know, I just kind of learned everything from everybody. Like, what do we post? What do we not post? Okay, we never post. Jelly's obviously, you know, a little bit bigger. But it's like we never post where we're at when we're there.
Yeah.
You know, you can do whatever you want, but you post when we leave. Like, you know, and when we're there, you're not posting about it because people can see it. And like, then and I saw some crazy shit from people when I was with Jelly. Like Jelly doesn't walk in front doors. You know, Kyle and I are just walking. Like, Jelly has security 24/7. Kyle and I are just walking around in Miami. You know, like there's the big difference there. But I'm glad that I learned that with Jelly because then I know, you know, kind of how to rock and roll with everybody else. So yeah, I'm hoping, you know, I think it would be really cool to, you know, coach some more celebrities.
Yeah,
and,
right
you
on,
know, kind of, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the best coach, but I you know, I know the game now.
Well, and like anything else, man, you only get better the more you do of it.
Yeah.
You'd be the next friggin' master coach. I mean, running's having its moment.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We might as well latch on and get that trending again.
Yeah, I mean, the Jelly thing was, oh my gosh, man. I was like Shabuzi, Jelly Roll, Lana Del Rey, Big X the Plug, Wiz Khalifa, Machine Gun Kelly, Alex Warren. I mean, all of these dudes I was just sitting in rooms with.
You must have been like, what?
Yeah, man.
How'd
like
that
we were
happen?
at Coachella, and I'd never been to a music festival.
Right.
You ever been to a music festival?
Nope.
It's like, you know, you got everything like backstage, and like backstage is like really dope. Like it's like campers set up. It's like a whole village for like everybody. And I'm sitting in a camper or like a trailer, or like, you know how it has like their name on the door. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. In the same room, in the same area, we had all those people: Wiz Khalifa, Big X the Plug, Jelly Roll, Theo Von, Nelly.
Wild.
I ended up at a after party with Jelly. I don't even know where we were at, somewhere, and Nelly got up on the stage and performed a private concert at an after party. And you know who Marshmallow is, the guy that wears like the head. Mm-hmm. Well, I know who he is because I was partying with this dude. And, like, Jelly, like, nudged me, and he's like, yo, you know who that is? And I'm like, no. He's like, that's Marshmallow.
That's
and I was like, what the fuck? You know, like.
The guy behind the head?
Yeah, it's just, you get put in these situations, and it's so cool. It's so cool to be in. But I like my life.
Yeah, dude. It's rad. It's been really fun to watch because, again, it's very real, man. It's human. Like you said, I'm not a special person.
It wasn't even, just quick, it was not Coachella, it was Stagecoach. I don't want anyone to come after me and say that like Matt Johnson lied or something. Because I don't even know that the festival was. I had to have Amanda tell me.
Yeah.
It was Stagecoach, definitely. It's not Coachella.
Yeah, it's dope, dude. And if all else fails and running, you know, somehow doesn't become your thing, you're going to go to the CrossFit Games because you came up to Cookeville, Tennessee and trained with Rich now, right?
Exactly. And Rich almost fucking gave me rhabdo, I'll tell you that. I thought he was going to kill me, bro.
Rich is built different, bro.
Dude, we did so many sit-ups.
Did you do the GHDs? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so we did this workout, and it was, see if I can remember it, 15 calories on the bike, 15 GHDs, 15 burpees over the bar, 15 calories on the bike, 10 rounds.
Oh, 150 GHDs in a session.
So I got to 7. I got to round 7, however many GHDs that is.
Enough.
And I threw myself back, and I went to like come forward, and no, I couldn't. I literally couldn't sit up. I could not sit up, and I like Rich kind of laughed. And he's like, "I'm not laughing at you." He's like, I was waiting for this to happen, and he like put a pad on the floor. He's like, "You just do regular sit-ups," and I'm like, I don't give. I'm like, "You're fucking Rich Froning, bro." Like, I don't care if you're laughing at me or not. I'll fucking do sit-ups on the floor. So I go and I get down on the floor. And I go to do a sit-up, and I couldn't even sit up off of the floor.
Yeah, they're brutal, bro.
And I'm like, what are you? You know, because I'm fit, you know, and I have a core. Like, I'm a runner. You know, like, we use our core every day. What? He's not human.
No, dude.
And he doesn't get tired. You know what the greatest part of that was, though? Is, like, we get into this gym, and he, like, grabs the remote, and I'm like, bro, he's about to turn on some, like, hardcore, you know, like hype me up music, and he's like, bang, Christian gospel.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, you are so cool. Like, that is, and he was just singing Christian God. He was singing while we were doing a workout.
Yeah, dude, it's
Rich
wild.
Froning is dope. Rich Froning is so cool. Like, I wish he was my dad. 100%. 100%. I just might start telling everyone Rich Froning is my dad. I
Let's
just can't
go.
grow the face hair.
Rich, come on, adopt us both.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's awesome, dude. Matt, you're a treat, man. I
Yeah.
fucking really enjoyed this one, dude. I love seeing what you're up to, and I'm excited to carry on seeing what you do get up to, man. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Where can
thank
people
you.
go to keep up? If they don't already know, let them know.
Yeah, at Matt Johnson on Instagram. There's like 2 underscores after that, but it should pop up. And then YouTube as well. I'm trying to make my way to 10K subs on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube's hard,
the YouTube game is different, bro.
YouTube's hard, and what I found out is like if you don't have, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't cross. Like the Instagram audience wants instant
Yep.
dopamine, and the YouTube audience wants to be invested in who you are. So,
Yep.
the 10,000 subs feels like 100,000 on
Yeah.
Instagram. So working my way out of that, but YouTube, Instagram, those are my 2 main platforms. I got a TikTok out there, but it is what it is. But simple Google search, you'll find it. I love saying that. You Google my name now, and it's everything Texas.
You'll
Like
find it.
It's so cool.
Matt Johnson's probably a pretty common name, but there's not too many Matt Johnsons that run across Texas. That's how you differentiate.
If you just go on Google and you just type in Matt Johnson Texas or Matt Johnson runner, it's all there.
Yeah. And you go for a run now and take 2 puffs of a cigarette and get the Matt Johnson effect.
Absolutely, I know. I need to get back home and get my. I think I might run again. I'm gonna run 20 tomorrow. Oh, we're fast. I'm doing my first fast.
Okay.
I've never.
Right now?
No, not right now. I'm actually scared. Like I'm more scared of this fast than I am of like 100-miler I've done.
I think you've got it, man. I think you've got it.
But I'm running 20 tomorrow, and then we're going into like an evening fast. So we're fasting 48 hours.
Nice. All right, man. We'll reset.
Yeah, I might get some tips from you off of camera here.
I got you.
Yeah.
Matt Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you next week. All right, friends. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.